Hey comic book fans, welcome back to the Comic Fix, episode 33.3, and today I got 3 new comics to review for you guys today, starting off with a little bit of Marvel with Hawkeye issue number 7. Now, if you did not hear, is that Matt Fraction is taking all the proceeds that he gets from this book, and he's taking it into himself to give all that money to the Red Cross and the Sandy Relief. That is so freaking awesome. It made me love comics in general, and just to see this guy, Matt Fraction, who's doing this fantastic job with Hawkeye and saying, I know I'm putting out some great quality and I know that people are buying it, and what am I going to do? I'm going to help out a good cause. And so all the proceeds that he's getting from this is going to the Red Cross, and that is freaking fantastic. I absolutely love that about this guy. And the good thing about this issue is that, yes, Marvel did state prior to this issue coming out, is that they pushed this one out really, really quickly. They wanted to get the proceeds out, and so they pushed this book out. Now, is the quality there? Most comics, it would not be. Most comics would just push out this book, and the quality will not be as good. The only downside to this comic is that there's 2 different pencilers on this issue, which doesn't bother me whatsoever because they're all so freaking awesome in their own different ways. Now, it was interesting, though, seeing these 2 pencilers and seeing that they had the same colorist on there. And who was the colorist? But Matt Hollingsworth. Now, Hollingsworth, he gets these 2 different writers, or 2 different artists. And it's interesting to see him incorporating their artwork into his coloring scheme. And how he seems like he was working with those 2 artists the whole entire time. And everything just flowed very, very well. It all had that Hollingsworth feel to it. But it didn't feel like that the 2 artists were trying to do a David Aja type of penciling. And it's interesting to see, now that I'm actually really paying attention, is how different colors work with different artists and how they're putting their own flavors into it. And with me doing all these comic reviews and just looking in depth into these comics, I'm seeing that there's a bigger world to this whole entire thing besides the writer and the penciler. I mean, the artist is something special, and you just see that in this issue. And it's a heartfelt story. It's all about the Sandy and just 2 independent stories, and they're interconnected very, very well. Matt Fraction, you just tell that he has this enthusiasm and just a story that he wants to tell. And it's just so freaking beautiful to see that. Now, Matt Fraction, he is from the East Coast. He's from New Jersey. Well, since he's been with Marvel, he moved over to the West Coast, and that's where he's been for quite a while. And it's nice, though, to see him giving back to all the people. Just some beautiful, beautiful stuff. And the best part is, it's only $2.99, and you know that all the money that's coming from this book is going to a great cause. And it's a great freaking book. Hawkeye has been one of the special books that everybody should just take a look at, because it's just so freaking beautiful. I absolutely love this issue. And it just has some heartfelt stories that you just don't get in usual comics. This book is just something special to behold, and I think everybody should give this book a freaking chance. And as I was talking about the colors, I should just show you guys, show the different coloring that he does. And specifically, I love his night scenes. They actually feel like nighttime. And I just love the way that he uses the coloring just to tell the story. And then you see him with a different artist, and it all flows, but in a beautiful way. And sometimes when there's just one colorist on there with 2 pencilers, sometimes it just doesn't work well with other pencilers, and you see that, but not in this case. And for being such a rushed out book that it's been saying, like on CBR, they had a whole interview of how this book was rushed out just to get to the Sandy Relief quicker. It's just interesting to see how much high quality Matt Fraction has in this book. It's amazing. Everybody should go pick this book up. It has a great freaking cause, and it's a great freaking comic as well. I do think that this book right now is probably my favorite book in the whole entire year. Yes, the year is early, but this book had heart. And how many books can you really say that? Is that every once in a while, once in a blue moon, a book comes out and just surprises the hell out of you. I have been loving Hawkeye, but this issue right here has some heart to it. So I'm going to give it haul worthy. It's a great book. Or no, not haul worthy, pool worthy. And speaking on my reviews, as I told you guys, I have a new rating scheme. There's pool worthy, there's a thumbs up. There used to be thumbs down and thumbs down with a burn. Well, there was no real middle, between thumbs up, thumbs down. So what did I decide to do? I was thinking to it, and I actually thought to call the middle ground limbo. So this is the new scheme for the Comic Fix. There is pool worthy, so it's good enough. I give my seal of approval that it's good to be enough to be on your pool list. To thumbs up, to limbo, to thumbs down, and just freaking burn. So that's the new rating scheme for this show. And next up is Batman Inc. issue number 7. Leviathan has taken over Gotham City, and it's just interesting to see that this is the issue where last issue all the shit hit the fan. In this one we see the repercussions of that and how everything is just coming down on the Batman Incorporated group. Now, I do think that Grant Morris has not really put the spotlight on all the other Batman Inc. characters, and that when I got these deaths, I didn't really feel as the impact as he wanted to be. Well, in this issue, Batman has been taken by Talia al Ghul, and it's up to the other remaining Batman Inc. members to basically get everything in order and try to find Batman. And it's interesting to get a Batman book without Batman actually in there. And Robin takes center stage in this issue, and it is freaking awesome. I love the times when Damian Wayne and Alfred are talking to each other, because one thing that Grant Morrison has done is that there's always been like this little rift between Damian and Alfred, which I don't see why, but Damian wants to be a smartass some of the times and just go against the grain. And it's just been interesting to see the banter back and forth between him and Alfred. Well, now that they're at this point where they're got the same direction, where Alfred and Damian are looking at the same thing and wanting the same thing, is to find Batman, find Bruce Wayne. And it's interesting to see these guys come and work together to figure out on how to solve a problem. After reading this issue, I really do feel that the reason why Grant Morrison created Damian Wayne was for this story that he is telling. He is the one who created Damian Wayne. It's just interesting to see the way he plays with Damian. This issue has a lot to have for a lot of readers who have been reading this series for a long time, but it definitely does not have that feel of new reader friendly. And that's one of the things about the New 52 is that it's supposed to be, but with Batman Inc., it really has never felt that way. Mainly because Grant Morrison was doing the Batman Inc. book until the New 52 started, and what did DC Comics do? They basically canceled the book, and they went on the merry way with the New 52. Well, Grant Morrison, he basically told DC Comics that he was going to be leaving their organization. He wanted to finish the story. And so what did DC Comics do? They said, okay, here you go. Go and finish your story. Which is freaking awesome, because Grant Morrison has done a lot of great things for DC Comics. And so it's great to see the story that Grant Morrison wants to tell. And he's telling it really freaking awesome. Because I look at his Action Comics, and it started out really strong with the first 6 issues. But then after the 6 issues, you definitely tell that Grant Morrison has the crazy ideas that Grant Morrison always has, but it hasn't been as well executed as it could be. But with Batman Inc. is very much on a path that Grant Morrison knows is going on, and I can actually follow it. So it's nice to see some direction in a Grant Morrison book, because my biggest time that I actually read any Grant Morrison has been in Action Comics, besides reading his stuff in like a volume or something like that. But my main focus on picking him up as a floppy in Action Comics, it was just terrible. But this right here is freaking awesome. I cannot wait for each and every issue to come out, and it's nice to see how Chris Burnham's art just plays with Grant Morrison's writing style. Is freaking awesome. I love this issue. This issue is badass, and I absolutely love the ending where these kids are coming out of the school bus and they're screaming out, Leviathan, Leviathan, Leviathan. And you actually feel the tension coming there, and you know that these characters, who we all know and love, Commissioner Gordon to Nightwing, they don't want to harm these kids, but Grant Morrison has put them in a situation that they have to survive. I don't know where Talia al Ghul is going to take this book next, but this has been a freaking awesome story. And I like that in all these Batman books that we get in DC Comics, they're all different, and they all have a different feel for them. If you are a person that just wants a Scott Snyder book, there's a Scott Snyder book there. But if you want something a little twisted, a little bit strange, you got the Greg Hurwitz and Batman the Dark Knight. And if you want the traditional Grant Morrison type of Batman, you got Batman Inc. I mean, what is better than that? Yes, people may complain that there's all these Batman books, but they're Batman books with variety. And that's one thing I don't think people see when they talk about Batman books. And it's funny though, one thing I noticed like watching my videos, I have a lot of hand gestures that I actually never noticed before. And then now I look at myself talking at like work or something like that, and I have a lot of hand gestures. So that's all really entertaining for me actually to see. So I really did enjoy this book. It has a lot for anybody who's reading it, but it's definitely not new reader friendly. But this one definitely was pull worthy. Put this one on your pull list. It was freaking awesome. There's been a lot of good books that came out this week, especially the books that I read for last, just to saving them, just to get them all, get all the traditional ones, the ones that I know that are going to be good, but save the great ones for last. And that's what I've been doing. Now the last one for this video is The Flash, issue number 16. We're continuing on with the Gorilla Grodd storyline. And the great thing about this one, we got Francis Manapul and Brian Buccellato back on doing the penciling and arting in this book. And it feels so right. I mean, Marcus too, he did a decent job in the last issue, but when nobody else is doing the penciling besides Francis Manapul and Brian Buccellato, everything feels missing if those two guys are not in there on to do the penciling and coloring. So it's nice to see these guys back. Now the story as a whole is very much the story of the Flash going and giving himself up to Gorilla Grodd. Because if you remember from the last issue, we got this freaking awesome panel, or it's like a 2-page spread of the Flash using the Speed Force to basically look at what could happen if he does this differently or that differently, and he finds out that all the outcomes that he tries to figure out, they all end up with him dying or his friends dying, and the only good outcome that could come out of it is that if he gives himself up to Gorilla Grodd and stops his fighting for now. And so we just have a story of of the Flash going and giving himself up to Gorilla Grodd, and then we got some three other storylines with the Rogues basically trying to help people that are being attacked by gorillas by having the people going into the world of Mirror Master. And that storyline is really interesting. I'm interested to see where that's playing out. And then you have the group that were lost in the Speed Force with Iris West. And that storyline's resolved. That storyline's been going on for almost a year now. It's nice to see that thing get almost resolved, and I can't wait to see how the outcome is going to be. Because at the end of the book, which is a spoiler warning, but I've already warned you guys a long time ago that I'm not worried about spoilers. I mean, I give you guys time to read your comics. I don't go out the first day and be like, okay, these are my reviews, and here's what happened. No, I give you guys time. So I hope you guys read your guys' comics. So that's what I'm expecting. That's why I just talk about these comics just so, free-willed, not worrying about giving out spoilers. But spoiler anyway, last page, you see Iris West basically come back into the now, and you have her and Gorilla Grodd and the Flash being like, oh my god, what just happened? Which I can't wait to see how that's going to end up. But this story is freaking awesome. It's very much has a tone about it, and it's done in such a beautiful way. The one of the things I really love though is that the way that they go and do the panels. I mean, all this stuff just works so freaking well. And they all had this special element to it. And it's funny though, I actually went back and read some of my pre-New 52 with Wally West comics. God, those books were boring compared to this book. This book has style to it. And that's one thing I love about the artwork. And the layouts and the panels are so freaking beautiful. I do think that right now the three books that have the best paneling is Batwoman, Hawkeye, and The Flash. I mean, those 3 books right there have top-notch paneling, the way that they do all the panels. And they all flow so well. And it's interesting, though, because I went back and I tried to... because one thing that DC Comics has been trying to do is have interesting panels, kind of like how they have in The Flash, and they tried it with Teen Titans. And those panels there in the Teen Titans issue number 16 just did not work as well as it does here in The Flash. And it's also interesting to say that, as I stated like last couple of weeks ago, that I went back and read all my Flash issues from the New 52. It was interesting to see how Brian Buccellato and Francis Manapul, they kind of eased themselves into the series. And then after about the 4th to 6th issue, they started to do all this crazy paneling, and it was so freaking beautiful. Usually they did one panel in the first 4 issues where it was just the name of the individual issue, and they would do it all very crazy like, but it wasn't until after the 4th or 5th issue where they went crazy with the whole entire book. And it was interesting to see how the book has evolved throughout the 16 issues. If you guys can go back and you guys have the first 16 issues or whatnot, go back and look and see if you guys see what I see on how these 2 writers or these 2 artists kind of just ease themselves into the book, and then they went all freaking crazy, and it's been beautiful ever since. So this book surprisingly will be haul-worthy. 3 books in a row that have been haul-worthy. I just love these books to death. And I've only given 5 books out of my 15 books that I picked out this week as haul-worthy so far. So that's about it for this issue, or this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. And I was actually thinking maybe, just possibly, is maybe having another video or YouTube channel where I will be focusing on the comics still, but having the reviews be 1 issue, and have it more of me doing editing and trying to work on my editing skills and kind of have it more, not so laid back as I do here, but more direct and just quick. I want to have 1 book, about 3 minutes per book, and just go from there. So someone could just watch a video and be like, okay, I want to go pick up that issue. And not have this, as I consider it, just me giving in-depth of what I really liked about the issues. Because that's what I like to do in this channel. I like to just talk about my comics, and I love that I watch your guys' videos, and I get ideas, and I love our YouTube community, and I'm hopefully maybe start the second channel, and it'll just be smaller reviews, and I'll try to make them look a little bit more professional instead of just me in front of the camera. Just try to have some fun with my video editing skills. So I'll see you guys next time, and yeah, see you guys later.